Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the Man Knows Hip Hop podcast with me, your boy Slack, and my co-host extraordinaire in the building, as always. What's
Major,
happening,
what's
bro?
good, everyone? Very good, man. We're here, another one, album review. We saying you good?
All good, bro. I think this one has been anticipated for a hell of a long time. So we don't normally jump on album reviews, but I think in this instance, it was definitely necessary because this is probably the most anticipated album for a long time. I can't think of one that's been this anticipated, and it's quite weird as well. Like, it's 2022, we've had the Black Star album, and we've had the Kendrick album, both which has been kind of in the works for how many years?
Yeah.
So who knows what else we might even get Detox this year? Like, who knows, man?
Yeah, very true, man. Very true.
Anything possible, bro. So yeah, welcome to the review of the Kendrick Lamar album, Mr. Morale, The Big Steppers, released on Friday. So we ain't gonna jump on reviews like to get there ahead of anyone else. We're gonna listen to it, we're gonna digest, and then we're gonna come to our thoughts on it. So we're not in any kind of rush to beat anyone to the punch on our album review or anything like that. So people who were reviewing it like an hour after the album dropped and all that, God bless. But that's what we do over here. So let's start off first of all with before we even get into the album and stuff like that. Where does Kendrick Lamar sit with you with regard to MCs in general? If you want to break it down into generations, you can do so because he's one of the leaders of the new school. But whereabouts have you got Kendrick with regard to a rapper at the moment?
See, it's weird because for me, people have probably heard me say it before. I mean, I rate Kendrick. It's one of them ones where I rate him. You know what I mean? And we'll get more into it in the review. I rate him as an artist, and with his content. And like I said it on the timeline on Friday or Saturday. You can't listen to something from his once and be trying to review that or even digest it. Do you know what I mean? He packages a lot into his projects. From the very first project, everything he does, I think every verse, everything he considers, and you have to rate a man like that. You have to tip your hat to a man like that. Do you know what I mean? So for that, I rate him highly. New school, he's got to be top 10. Do you know what I mean? I think he will go down. People may say he already is, but I think when it's all said and done and the dust settles, he will go down as one of the greatest, one of the greats in hip hop for the culture, and so on and so forth. For me personally now, I think that's another matter. He wouldn't be in my top 10. I'll be completely honest with you. Kendrick isn't a man I draw for. Shout out to my guy, Adrian. We're always talking about hip hop and just chopping it up. He loves Kendrick, do you know what I'm saying? And J. Cole, and sometimes we're going back and forth and talking about things. And I like Kendrick, but I was trying to explain to him that there's something about Kendrick for me that doesn't really compel me to go back and listen again and again and again. And this is music, do you know what I'm saying? So there has to be replay value. And I don't think... I'm definitely going to get gunned down for this, but I don't think a lot of his material, for me personally, has strong replay value. Do you know what I'm saying? But if you're just looking at the material, he has to be top 10 material, man. The thought he puts into it, the effort, the concepts, and he can rap, bro. Ain't taking none of that away from me. He can rap, but I'm going to put it out there. This a man knows hip hop, innit? Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? We keep it real. And I ain't saying what I think the culture wants to hear. I'm saying how I feel. You know what I'm saying? For me, what grates me a little bit with Kendrick, he's not that palatable for me to listen to. I don't enjoy listening to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, his voice sometimes, the voices, the different things he does, it all feels too much sometimes. So I don't really have a high level of replay value for him. Do you know what I'm saying? But I rate him. But to answer your question, I think he will go down as one of the greats. I think he deserves the top 10 spot. If people say top 10 or top 5, I wouldn't even argue it. But for me personally,
what of all time?
Put him there. In time, he'll probably go down as one of the greats. But I mean, there's definitely people now that would probably put him in their top 10. I was thinking this morning as well, bro. A lot of people forget how crucial timing and age is. Do you know what I'm saying? I was talking about wrestling this morning on the timeline, and we was just talking about certain wrestlers and that, yeah. And if you just go back and watch certain videos and that, you might just think this guy can't really wrestle, or okay, blah blah blah. But bro, when you experience it and you're there in real time, it's a whole different ball game. You see what I'm saying? So for a lot of people now, they're experiencing the moment with Kendrick now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're getting these albums in real time. This is their Tupac to us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
This is their.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is their
They never
poet.
experienced that. So
right. Exactly. So there's going to be a certain generation that will turn to us and say Kendrick's the greatest. And I wouldn't really argue, because I would probably understand why they feel that way. But I think, I can't speak for obviously everyone, but for me and for my generation, I don't think you'll find many people from our generation that would say he's the greatest of all time. Do you know what I'm saying? But the respect will be there. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, that's how I kind of feel about him. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's kind of mad that you reference wrestling, because literally the other day, I was watching something on YouTube, and then that was the next video was Undertaker versus Hulk Hogan for the WWF title.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I was like, "This is absolutely awful. Like, this is terrible. Like, all the moves were like telegraphed, and it was slow, and it was just so bad. Like, it was terrible to watch. But at the time, you were like,
massive.
Yeah, like this is great. I hated Hogan from day one.
I always have, bro. Trust me.
Well, I wanted the Undertaker to rip him, and he did. Like, so I was, I was cool by that. But watching it back now as a as an adult, nah. Yeah. But that kind of made me think, right? So a lot of the stuff, like the music we talk about and stuff that has aged well, it's the complete opposite. Because I can still listen to a Das Effects album, EPMD album, whatever, and I'm still like, yeah, this is still knocking. But that is like, dying. Do you know what I mean? So it's definitely about time. When it with regard to Kendrick, I agree with some of what you said for sure. Like, especially with the part about like real people seeing him now in real time as their artist. I got no problem with that, because, like you said, the boy can rap. He can make songs. He can make albums. He's really good live. I saw him in Manchester, probably around 2000 and maybe 13, something like that. I took a girl to go see him, and that was a really good show. Like he really put on a really, really good show. So he kind of ticks all the boxes, if I'm being completely honest. So I don't have much against Kendrick, apart from like what you said. When it comes to the voices, I can't do the voices, man. Like, that stops me from playing a lot of his stuff more often. It's not like he's got like a monotone voice or something like that. So I don't know. There's the accents and the inflections and stuff that he does that I just don't like.
Yep.
Sometimes his beat selection as well makes me not really want to revisit his stuff. But him as an artist, I'm not just saying rapper, I'm saying as an artist, I can't really fault him, because you can tell he puts a lot of effort into his albums. Exactly. And that's all I ask, you know what I mean? And I've said many times as well, like, I prefer that kind of live instrumentation production. So he's got people like Thundercat and DJ Dahi on here. DJ Dahi is an incredible producer when it comes to melodies and stuff like that. And I saw his name on the production credits. He's got DJ Khalil, another one who's kind of been missing, but again is a brilliant producer. He's worked with Terrace Martin, but he's worked with some killer, like, when it comes to chords and
musicians,
actual musicians. Do you know what I mean? So I respect that, because a lot of people, they just work with a producer. He's got Alchemist on here, but then he's also got these, like, who's obviously a very well-renowned producer, a go-to at the minute. Like, let's be honest, he's doing stuff with Eminem, Kendrick, but then he'll do stuff with Action Bronson and whoever else. So he's literally the go-to guy at the minute.
He is, definitely.
Yeah, so you've got him on there, mixed in with all these like musicians. And I'm like, that's an artist, you know what I mean? Like, he can do everything. If he wants to do a hard write, he can. If he wants to do a story, he can. If he wants to do introspection, he can. If he wants to do a concept album, he can. Like, he could do what he wants, and he's very good at what he does, and I respect the amount of effort he puts in. And what I like about him as well is he only drops when he wants to. Clearly, he doesn't just drop, you know, under pressure like a lot of these artists, dropping a piece of shit on Friday and then say there's a deluxe a week later and it's just trash and forgotten about. If he dropped, it's not forgotten about because people will talk about it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Man hasn't had to do no promo for this album.
I was just gonna say he don't even need to promote it. Yeah.
No, the internet done it for him. And again, that shows foresight because he was like, I'll just let them do it and I'll go to Ghana and play some football. You know what I mean? Man's in Africa and jabbing, and the internet's, you know, going crazy over his album. So I respect Kendrick. He's not one of my personal favorite rappers, but I don't know how anyone could say, you know, anything against the guy. To be honest with you, he's done what everyone says would be their tick boxes. You know, can he rap? Can he go over these beats? Can he make an introspective song? Can he make a concept album? Can he do this and all this bullshit box ticking? He's literally done everything. He sold records. So if people who are interested in sales and awards and all that, he's done all that too. He's great live. Like, what would you want? He's done it all. So, the anticipation for this album, we're talking what? I think Damn was 2017, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, 16, 17. Yeah, I think it was.
Right. So we're talking 5 years. And in today's climate where people want things now, like I guarantee there's some dickhead like, when's the next one dropping?
Yeah, of course,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
So I think he's done an extremely good job in keeping people's attention for this long, because people be like, he's made us wait 5 years. I don't care no more. But we did care that this dropped. So how you feel about the kind of this one, man? Where does it rank alongside like 50 and Snoop and those kind of albums?
And this is where people will say I'm an old head, but I can't compare any new anticipation to those anticipations. The reason being is because I feel like Kendrick's anticipation and that, like I said, once again, he's a man of this time, do you know what I mean? Which is an internet, social media time. Obviously, we had the internet in the 90s, late 90s, what have you, but, you know, it weren't the same. So when I think about 50 and Snoop, and then, man, the buzz that was just like raw, pure buzz that made it overseas and everywhere, magazines, articles, radio, interviews, blah, blah, blah. Any huge buzz now, I can't put them in the same category because you've got the internet, you've got social media, so anyone can have a little bit of a buzz and an anticipation. So I can't compare it to those. I don't think it touches those. But if we're looking at it in our generation, then, like you said at the beginning and opening of the episode, it's probably one of the biggest ones I've seen. People are itching for it. They were hungry for it. Let me just say this, though, bro. I kind of feel sorry for Kendrick. So I agree with what you're saying about my man just dropped the album and bounced to Ghana. I get that. But and he drops things when he wants. All of that I appreciate and I get and I agree. But there's an element of me that can't help but think, if I was Kendrick, I'd almost be scared to drop, because he's a man that's like, bro, I've seen people talking about what the symbolism is of the album cover and what the white blotches on the brown paint stands for. I feel like he must think to himself, everything I do is dissected to the molecule and the atoms. You know what I mean? So
I don't know where that started from, bro. I honestly don't know where that started from.
This is what I'm saying, and it just got to a point where like everything he does now is just overly analyzed, man. And I'm not saying like, I'm just saying like he's a deep guy, but I'm sure he does just want to put. Does he want it all overly analyzed?
I don't think he's that deep, bro. I think he's put it out there enough. You know what I mean? He said stuff like, "You can't please everybody." He said that more than once on songs.
Yeah.
He's talking about "I chose me" on his album. So he's like, "Listen, man, if you don't like where I'm at, cool. Bottom line, but I've done what I needed to do on this album."
Yeah,
You know what I
100%.
mean?
I know he
But
feels pressure though, bro.
I agree with you, man. Like,
Mm.
I think honestly, a lot of these artists, I think they'll look at tweets and be like, "Look at this dickhead!" Like this didn't mean anything. It was just a picture. But you've got to say this, and this, and they must look at it and be laughing their asses off. Like, what are you lot talking about?
Bro, when he dropped the heart track, yeah, I was reading a comment. Someone was like, "Oh, he's positioned slightly to the left
Yeah, yeah,
of the
yeah,
street
yeah.
because that's where the heart is." I'm like, come on, man. Like, it could be that for all we know, but I'm just thinking, man, I wish I had the depth of thought to some of these people, man.
Bro,
Because,
it
like,
was just before every album he drops the heart part, whatever.
yeah,
People just getting excited because they ain't got shit going on in their lives because you can't be getting that excited about the album cover and a video. Don't get me wrong, like if you've waited 5 years for an album to drop, cool. Like I understand you're gonna be a little bit excited, but get a girl or something, man. Like
the
come on,
100, man,
like
100%.
you're going too far. Like he I think he's done enough to cement himself. I rate him way over like Cole, and Aubrey and everyone else that people want to try and compare him against. I don't think Cole could make an album like this one, if I'm
See,
honest.
but I'd take Cole over Kendrick though. Reason being
That's
is
fine.
because
That's cool.
he's easier to listen to for me. Do you know what I mean?
Cole bores me, bro. Like I can't. Cole to me is Magnolia paint, right? Magnolia paint in the house. You're like, all right, it's beige.
Yeah.
Okay. There's just nothing about him that makes me want to listen to him more than once. Like even
Okay.
that verse on Benny's song, and people going nuts. And I've listened to that song a lot because I like that. I love that song. It's a really really good song. Johnny P's Caddy,
Mm.
and I've listened to that verse 100 times, and I can't see what's special about it. Like what he's saying is nothing special, bro.
Yeah, I hear you. I love how he starts it though.
Yeah, all right, thunder and lightning and God is fire and all this shit. I'm like, okay, but like this has been done a million. You're not saying
Yeah.
anything that hard where I'm like, rah, that was a really clever metaphor, or that was a really slick, or he's just rapping, and that's fine, but he's just not interesting. Kendrick to me is more of an interesting artist. Like when we get into the review anyway, I'll explain a little bit more. But listening to what he puts together, there's so much that goes into every song, every verse, every transition, everything that I don't get from any other artist in this generation.
Oh,
yeah, definitely not Cole. Definitely not.
Yeah,
I ain't got no reason for Cole at all, but I just find him extremely dull, extremely boring. That's it. So on to the review then, bro. Mr. Morale and the Steppers. Go, man. Take it away, man. What did you think of this album after a 5-year wait?
Man. Yeah, so I will say this. I'm slightly different because I weren't waiting. Do you know what I'm saying? I weren't like, oh, I need a Kendrick drop. Do you know what I'm saying?
I wasn't even.
Yeah, cool. I'm not the biggest fan, as I said at the beginning, but when he drops, he drops. I personally, Good Kid's my favorite from him, but I personally thought Damn was good. Like, for me, it got way too much stick for me. I thought Damn was a good album. Do you know what I'm saying?
That was decent, yeah.
I liked it. Yeah, okay, let's get into it. So let's talk about the things I like, yeah?
Why don't you start with the things you don't like?
Okay, cool. Things I don't like. All right, let's switch it up a bit. Switch it up a bit. Okay. What I didn't like on a whole is the album I felt was a perfect portrayal of Kendrick as an artist for me. It felt all over the place, right? Musically, it felt all over the place. Like there was no musically, I felt there was no consistency with it. It was like that for me, yeah. And that's life. I get it. Life is like that, but I don't want my albums to be. You understand what I'm saying? So, but you get me. So for me, it felt a little bit up and down. So what I didn't like was that tracks I didn't like was Crown. You know, the one where he's talking about not being able to please everybody. I didn't like Mr. Morale. For me, it sounded like something that was left over from Kanye's Yeezus album. Do you know what I mean? I didn't like the sound, didn't like how he rapped on it, didn't like the beat. Horrible. United Grief, I think it's called. That was just messy for me. Once again, I didn't like how he's rapping on that. It just sounded very messy, like too much. And I'm making myself sound very simple, but I'm not a simple guy. But just sometimes things just they can sound too messy. I don't mind organized chaos, but it just felt a bit too chaotic. You know what I'm saying? And Savior, didn't like Savior. There's a few that I weren't really checking for as well, but those are the ones that really like I'm gonna skip them when they come on. Do you know what I'm saying? So they're the ones I'd probably say I disliked the most. And yeah, didn't like I felt it felt very inconsistent. I'm not a big fan of the production, to be honest, of the album. Not my kind of production that I want from an album. What I'd expect from Kendrick, yeah, but not really what I wanted. And it felt to me as well. Last point of the dislikes, I felt his pressure. Now that just might be me projecting my thoughts onto him, but I felt his pressure. I felt like, you know, in school when you're playing football and like or basketball or whatever. I said basketball more because that's more what I preferred in school. So and people be like, so and so's coming. He's sick. He's sick. When he comes, watch. And then he hears that now, right? So even though he's naturally good, he feels under pressure now to be impressive, right? And I felt like that's what I got from the album. It never felt like someone who just, even though he's like, you can't please everyone and I chose me, like we were saying before, I still felt like he was trying to do something to please everyone. Even though he said that you can't please everyone, I felt like he was trying to, and he was no diss to him at all, but I felt like he was trying to be deep and he was trying to hit you with topics that would make you go, like, do you know what I'm saying? And obviously he's a different man now. You look at, you know, Section 80 and all these different projects as he's going on. You see he's growing and doing different things, but I felt like he don't seem happy anymore. It's weird, bro. I can't explain what I mean, but like he seemed like he would have fun before. Even on his albums, there'd be tracks he's having fun. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't just mean up tempo. I just think he just seems like a very stressed, under pressure individual now. And I think a lot of that is what we're putting on him.
First song, bro, where he's talking about being in therapy and all of that kind of stuff. And
very true. Yeah.
And he's been going through some things. Like that was the first thing he said on the album. Like those were
100%. 100%. And maybe subconsciously then hearing that and knowing that, I'm feeling that on the album. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is fine because I love my DMXs, I love my Tupacs, I love my Scarfaces, I love portrayal of those kind of things. You know me. I'm sure everyone who watches the show knows I love things like that where you can show authenticity and you can show, do you know what I'm saying, vulnerability on track and do it well. I love that. So I like that he done that. But just for me, it felt a little bit like he was under pressure. Like I don't know if he really is in a good space. And it just felt a bit all over the place. So that's the darker side of it. Like what I probably didn't enjoy as much. Last thing. So this seems like a contradiction, but where I was speaking about, I like the vulnerability. I like the people that can talk about that and share emotion, the Tupac, the DMXs and all that. I like that, but I believe that there were some artists that do it a lot better. And I don't think I would put Kendrick down as one of those artists that I particularly enjoy hearing vulnerability and struggle from because it comes out messy to me. I can't even articulate what I'm trying to say. Hopefully you and the listeners kind of understand. And remember, I don't need you, the listeners I'm talking to, I don't need you to agree, but at least try and understand what I'm saying. I rate Kendrick, but I just think some people are better artists with vulnerability than Kendrick. But they're the negatives. So I'll let you brush your negatives and then I'll come in with the positives. Because I feel bad now. I feel like I'm dissing him.
All right. Negatives, I'd say it did feel a bit disjointed, but I think that was purposeful. So I don't think that's a case of him just making songs and it being disjointed like a lot of people do. I think it's that way for a reason.
Okay.
Because he's kind of said right at the beginning, you know, I'll be going through some things, and the album then literally takes you on all the things he's been going through. You know what I mean? He's talking about, you know, abuse and relationships and his auntie and his uncle and
Mm-hmm.
a load of other stuff that he's talking about, his career and all of that. So I kind of feel like that's why the album was like that. It's showing you the highs and lows.
Mm.
So that was okay for me. But with regard to negatives, I think it was, I didn't like the Kodak. I didn't understand what the Kodak part was about. The interlude. People saying his guest verse was great. I think I'm missing something because
Who, Kodak's?
yeah, I thought it was horrible. If I'm honest, I don't think he was on beat. There's times where I can't understand what he's actually saying, and I've got no problem understanding people from Florida. So I don't know. It just didn't work for me at all. Some of the guest features I didn't like. Sampha, I didn't like his feature, what he was saying, and I don't think his kind of vocal tone and accent worked on that song, and he was just repeating the same thing over and over. Like Beth Gibbons as well. Like Beth Gibbons is great, but again, she was kind of, it felt like she was underused. I think the best feature was Ghostface. I wasn't expecting that, and yeah, and that's one of my favorite songs on the album. But we'll talk about that in a bit. But what I also didn't like was the production. It doesn't make me want to listen to it again and again. And although, like I said right at the beginning, I love live instrumentation. I'm very big into, when I've been to concerts and I'm listening to people like playing a bass line that's exactly the same as the bass line you hear on the song, but they're doing it live. Like, I love that. And the drums and all of the live elements that you could bring to a concert. I love all that. And it feels like some of the album is like a jam session. Like there's some of it that's really just the musicians like, yeah, this is the one. So it's very jazz influenced in that kind of way. And I like that, but I just don't like some of the beat choices that he made. I don't like his voices on there. Some of his hooks on there are not good. Push these niggas off me like, and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna listen to that more than once, am I? Like,
bro.
So yeah, those are the main things I didn't like, man. Some of it was just not good in my opinion. But what did you like?
Okay, so at the risk of sounding very contradictory, I like the maturity. Yeah, like we always talk about, I think you need to grow with your music. If I want ignorant rap, I know where to go for it. I don't want to hear, if that's not you anymore, I don't want to hear that from you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I like the maturity. I'd like the vulnerability. So not to contradict myself, I like vulnerability in hip hop. It just, some people do it better. But the Father Time, the track The Father Time, love that. Yeah. I don't know to put it out there. I don't know if it's, maybe I can relate to it a bit if I'm going to show some vulnerability here. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I can relate to it a bit in regards to me maybe not having the best relationship with my dad. You see what I'm saying? So I found it very, I know it was more than just about that, but the beat as well, what he was talking about, I thought it's a very good track. If I had to pick one as my favorite, it would possibly be that. Do you know what I'm saying? So Father Time. Now, We Cry Together is weird because I thought, I don't know if I like this. I like it or I really don't. For a while, for the first 2 or 3 listens, I weren't sure how I felt about it. And then one day I listened to it and I thought, this is actually sick. Do you know what I mean? We Cry Together. I like what it's done. I like the argument. I mean, the content of the argument. some bad guy with issues.
I like chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I like what they put out there in the argument. There was obviously a lot of toxic going on, but there was a lot of openness and honesty, and I thought it was creative. It kind of reminded me of, shout out to Sway, Pretty Ugly Husband. Do you know what I'm saying? Off his This Is My LP. Yeah, that track where he's rapping as the husband and there's abuse going on in a relationship. I just thought he'd done it so cleverly and creatively. I thought it was brilliant. Just shout out to Sway. But yeah, so I thought it was like that. It was just done very well, and I loved her voice. I just like the sound of her voice and that. I thought that was a good track. The other one, Count Me Out, bro. That sample, it's just like, and I'm tripping, I'm tripping and falling. That I just love that, bro. I actually had that on repeat on Saturday. I think it was sick track. I really like that. Count Me Out. Yeah, I love that track a lot. Purple Hearts, as you said, with Ghostface and Summer Walker. You weren't expecting the Ghostface. You wouldn't expect a Ghostface sample in a 2020. I mean, verse in a 2022 Kendrick album. And everyone knows I love Ghostface, so that was a good touch for me. It was good to hear that, and I love the beat, man. It's so soulful. I actually do like Silent Hill with Kodak Black. Just take away Kodak Black. The track minus Kodak, I like. Don't like Kodak Black's verse. Nearly ruins it for me, but I like the track without him. And I'm going to say Auntie's Diaries as well. Just the depth of it, the openness, the vulnerability, what he's speaking about. I know Jay done it on 444 and some other artists have done things like that. It shows you, it's kind of like our episode last week where we just spoke about the change in times. People wouldn't do a track like that years ago. Do you know what I mean? So it's good to see them to do a track like that, talking about that, what it means. A little bit as well reminded me once again of our episode last week when we touched on the N-word, when he was talking about bringing out the white girl rapping along to his beat and then the drama when she tried to say that word. Remember? So yeah, those are the tracks that probably stood out for me as favorites. But it's creative, man. The album's creative. As I say about Tupac, even though Kendrick can really rap, obviously Tupac can do, but there's certain rappers that I don't just call them rappers, they are like artists. And Kendrick is an artist, do you know what I'm saying? He's not someone that's just gonna. I imagine him not being able to freestyle at all. Maybe he can, but he comes across as someone like that probably can't freestyle. Do you know what I'm saying? He don't rush a verse. That's what I'm saying. He probably can because he is a rapper. But I'm saying,
yeah, because he's done ciphers before. I've seen him do ciphers.
Yeah, he is a rapper. Definitely, he's a lyrical and he's a rapper. But I'm saying the way my mind sees Kendrick is someone who can't freestyle, and if you say to them, here's a beat, just a rap, he'd be like, nah, I'll be back in like 72 hours and it'll bring some kind of deep message and stuff, you know what I mean? I feel like he's an artist. He's not just a rapper. He is an artist. And that album for me is art, right? And I feel like that's why it kind of annoys me a bit when people take people like Kendrick and want to just review and talk about it and say it's this and that, and they've probably only spun it once. You can't listen to his music once. You need to listen to it a few times. But all that being said, it just takes a little bit away from the replay value for me. Because once you hear the message and you get the message, unless it's something that really impacts you and you want to hear again, for me, once you hear it, you hear it. It's not something I'd rush back to. Do you know what I'm saying? But we'll save the rankings from me anyway. But yeah, those are the things I liked about it. It's art, man. It's art. And he's an artist. And I think he done a great job with what he wanted to portray and do. And I bet he felt very good after it was said and done. Oh, yeah, bro. Sorry, man. And you asked me before about the things I don't like. I don't like that there was no TDE members on it, considering it's his last album on the label. Do you know
never has, though. He never has put.
Nah, but I thought this might have been different. Being the last one, I thought we might get, a bit more some TDE artists just for sentimental value in it. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, they was meant to do the whole Crew album and it never happened. But just little things like that. I was hoping he would surprise us and at least have a track with them all on it or something, or some Dre production or something. Do you know what I mean? But there was none of that. Yeah, so it's one of those ones, really.
Black Hippie, it's been a bit weird on that score, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but that's me, bro. That's me.
Yeah, my favorite songs was Die Hard. Was the first one that I liked. I really thought that was a good song. Nice production. Just a generally nice breezy song. You can play that anytime. It sounds decent. We Cried Together, I think, was well done. The Alchemist beat, I was a little bit surprised by his choice of beat for that song, because that song sounds like something off Lulu too to me. That sounds like a Conway type beat, but it was good to hear someone other than Conway or Benny going over one of those kind of beats. I'm just surprised at its inclusion. But the song itself, I thought was really well done. I thought the match of the two of them on the song was really good. What they were saying was good. The way that, although it's a song, it felt like a real argument. That takes real skill.
Right.
And I thought that was really well done. And all the people crying about it, get a fucking life, man. Seriously. It's a song. Like, he wasn't beating her up in the studio. It's a song. Purple Hearts was another one that I liked, for obvious reasons. I thought Summer Walker was good. I thought Ghostface was good. I thought the beat was good. Musically, it sounded good. It sounded like an old school kind of R&B song. Like the beat, the music reminded me of like a nice old school jam that you could put on at any time. And I thought that was really good. Count Me Out as well was another one I really liked. And Mother Sober was another one I liked. Very it was just kind of the piano, but I liked the way that he created that song and what he was talking about, and the way he rapped it and stuff like that. I thought he did a good job on that tune. The Auntie Diary song that you was talking about, it's a song. And back to what we was talking about literally last week, people jumping out of their shit talking about, oh, he said the F word and all this shit.
Yeah.
But none of them will complain about him saying the B word, the M word, and every other word on the album. Why is that so special? Do you know what I mean? Why does that get a special dispensation from everything else that he said on the album? I can't stand that, bro. Like,
and it was taken out of context anyway.
Of course, it's taken out of context because people that don't even listen to hip hop will specifically listen to that just to bitch about it. And I ain't got time for none of these dickheads. So the song itself was well done. Would I play it more than what? I'll skip it because I don't really want to hear that over and over again, that song. But what he did, the song, I thought he did a good job with what he wanted to put out. And why would anyone have an issue with what he was saying? Like, unless you are listening to complain. Like, I ain't got time for that shit. So I liked all of that. That was all high quality, but I think a lot of what took away from that quality was the stuff that I said that I didn't like. And once the album was finished, I listened to the Heart Part 5. Bro, the Heart Part 5 is so good. That is such a dope song. The sample, what he's saying, rapping from the perspective of Nip, like R.I.P. Nip, but man, he did a great job with that song, man. That is a really good song. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, this album's gonna be fire. But if he included that song, that would have been the best song on the album, as far as I'm concerned. Because none of the other songs that he's got on there, he's rapping like that. The beat, even when he's like, take the drums out, and then it's just the bass line, bro, man. That is a song. I play that a lot. It's only been out a week or whatever, but I've played that song a lot because it's really, really good.
Definitely, man.
So it's a shame that it wasn't on here, but I didn't expect it to be because I know he doesn't put the heart songs on his albums, but that set the bar higher for me when I heard that song. So I was like, if he's dropping this as an intro to the album, God knows what he's got on the album then. With the Marvin Gaye, just killed it. So overall, I guess it was. What did I give you? What, five highlights?
Yeah,
Out of an 18-song album for me isn't great because there's a lot of times where I'm tempted to hit the skip button, but I thought let me just listen to what he's saying.
Right.
But it's the music, bro. Some of the music are just. There's that song. Which song is it where he's just rapping of like a dun 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 dun.
Man, I'm not that.
It's right at the beginning of the album. Hold on, man. I'll have to get this song.
Yeah, I did the same.
I'm gonna have to find it because that's gonna annoy me. What was it called? Worldwide Steppers.
But yeah.
So I'm just rapping over that horrible. Yeah, that. What he's saying is cool. because he was saying something like, "What makes your community special? Why do I have to pander to your community?" And he's not talking about anyone in particular, but he basically saying what makes your community more important than anyone else's. And I really like that what he was saying, because it's true. Like what we were just saying. Why? Because I know gay people say the N word. Like that's not what it's about. So what makes you more special than us, or what makes Jewish people more special than us, or whatever. So I like what he was saying, but I just don't like the music, and that's what's just held me back. And I've listened to it so many times, the album, because I knew we were coming into review, and I know that his music demands more than one listen, which is a skill in itself. Because there's many where you can listen to it and be like, nah, that's shit.
I never heard before,
yeah. So the first time I listened to it, I was like, oh. But the first time I listened to Pimp a Butterfly, I did not like it at all. I remember, like it was yesterday, I was walking to a meeting, I had it in my headphones, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, what is this shit? But I didn't want to skip anything. As it got to sort of track 5, I think it was, then it started to pick up. And then it kind of took a little slight dip at the end again, because I didn't like the I song.
I love that, bro.
I didn't like it, bro. When I don't know what it was, especially when it was released before the album back then. So I heard that first, and I was like, but then on the album you got a live version of it, where it sounds like he's actually rapping it on stage rather than the version that we got. And that version of the album was better than the version that we got previously, in my opinion. But yeah, I thought when I listened to that, I didn't like it, and then it grew on me. So I thought maybe this will have the same effect. Maybe I'll listen to this one and then it'll be the same as TPAB, but it just hasn't grown on me, bro. Like the songs I liked at the beginning. The songs I don't like, I still don't like. And the things I don't like about the album, like the accents and some of the features and stuff that I still don't like. So although I really appreciate what he's put into the album, the effort and the mixing is immaculate. Like it's brilliant mixed. It sounds clean. You can hear every instrument. You could tell it's a lot of money's been put into this album with regard to studio and everything else, the engineers and the mixers and everything like that. High quality. Everything's been done at the highest level possible. But just musically, I won't listen to this much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's not to take away from everything he's put into it, but I'm just not going to press play on this album much, bro, because I'll play the songs I like, and that's maybe 5 out of 18. But like I always say, if you've got a test of 18 questions, you get 5 right, you fail, bro.
Yeah.
The songs that he's done, certain concepts like Auntie's Diaries and stuff like that, it's not a bad song at all, but I'm not going to continually play.
Right, exactly.
I'm not going to play that more than once or twice. I'm like, okay, I get what you're saying. I don't never want to hear it again. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that kind of drags it down.
That's exactly it. That's exactly what it is for me. Yeah.
So we've given him a lot of props.
100%.
Stuff like that, which I got no problem with. I love the rollout. I love that he's chilling in Africa while people are sweating. I love that he's got them so riled up and he hasn't said nothing. That's what I love, bro. He hasn't done an interview. He hasn't done nothing for this album. And he's got people in a frenzy talking about his wife and her complexion and all this, like idiots. He's literally doing this, dance puppets, dance. Like, it's brilliant. I love it. I love it. I rate Kendrick. I want the best for Kendrick. I want him to succeed. Like he seems like a cool guy. Like he really does it. You know what I mean? I got no issue with him like winning. But just for me personally, I won't listen to this album much, bro, if I'm being completely honest, man. So regardless of the concepts and the brilliance and the genius and everything else you want to throw at him, the songwriting, all of that, cool. But I'm not going to throw it in the car. I'm not going to throw it at the function. I'm not going to listen to it when I'm at home on my phone. It's not going to be in the back. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I can't really rate it too high, bro. What are you saying, man?
Yeah, that's literally, bro. Same for me. Like we said, he's an artist. I rate him. I echo everything you said, man. Do you know what I mean? The culture needs more people like him, without a shadow of a doubt. We need more MCs.
You're not going to get more than one Kendrick, bro. You're not.
Nah, and that's what I mean. That's why I said when it's all said and done, he will go down as one of the greatest.
Yeah, he will. He will. I got no problem with that either. Because he's dedicated you could tell like he's dedicated to this shit. You could tell he gives a shit. Like he cares about hip hop. He wants to make the best he can make. He don't give you bullshit. Like, he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't just drop some crap and be like, "Here you go." He puts thought and effort into his stuff, and I can only appreciate that. Whether it's for me or not,
100%, man.
that's cool. Like, the audience is aimed for. I can tell by a lot of the beats and stuff. It's aimed for like a newer kind of audience.
Yeah.
There's too much singing. At one point, I'm driving. I'm like, I haven't heard him rap for a while, and his singing ain't good. That's another mark against. There's too much singing, and he's not a singer. Do you know what I mean? I don't like that. But
No, yeah, I was just agreeing, but yeah, it's that for me, and it's like even sometimes if I mention my top 10 artists or MCs that I rate highly, and people be like, "Really, so and so can rap way better than him." It's like, I know that, but as I always say, this is music, and if the replay value isn't there, I can't rate you that highly personally, because for me to rate you highly, I want to hear you. Might not even be that good of an MC. But musically, I've got your stuff on repeat, or I want to hear it, or it's a catchy hook, or do you know what I'm saying? So I think that's the only thing that lets Kendrick down for me. As artistic as he is, like you rightly said, brilliant message, but I've heard that message now. I don't really need to. I'll say to other people, "Oh, check out Auntie's Diaries," or check out this, but I don't need to hear it again. So if we're looking at, forget this modern time of streaming, let's look at it like we bought the CD or the record or what have you. How many times are you actually going to pull that out, put it in your system, put the needle down or whatever? Not often, because you're like, I've heard it. So for that reason, I'll give my ranking. For artistically, it's a 4 artistically for me.
Don't beat around the bush.
Okay. You're right. Let me say. I'm gonna say 3 then. I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna say 3. Okay. For me personally, it's a 3 because of the replay value. Yeah. So good, worth checking out. Yeah.
Okay. I was
honorable mention. Wait. Honorable.
I was waiting for that.
Isn't
it? Maybe a 3.5 for me, man. I gotta say,
okay.
I don't know if I could fairly give it anything less than dope, because what is dope, and Kendrick is dope himself. It's just I couldn't give it a 4, bro. I've seen people give it a 5, but of course we're gonna see people give it a 5. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was inevitable.
It was a 6 before it dropped, bro.
Right, exactly that, bro. So yeah, I don't even feel harsh giving it a 3.5. I can't give it more than that, because once we've done this review, I probably ain't gonna hear it again for another year or so, until I'm like, let me go back on that and see if it hits any different than it did when I first heard it. You know what I mean? For me to give it more than a 3.5, it demands me to play it more. Like, I'll listen to like Dark Low. He's not the greatest rapper in the world, never claimed to be, but the way he raps, his voice, the way he just bullies these beats, and he picks great beats, I'll listen to him all day long.
Right, exactly.
He's not the greatest rapper, but he's got so much arsenal. Even like just some lines, you're like, oh shit, did he just say it? You know, kind of thing. Yeah, I don't get that here. So yeah, I can only say a 3.5, bro. Like, I think that's fair. It's dope. Yeah. You know, people are gonna love it. You know what I mean? People are gonna say it's the greatest thing ever, and you know, we expect that. But for me, it's cool. It's cool. If someone goes, Jet, what do you think of that? What do you think of that Kendrick album? I'll be like, it's cool. That's it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'll say it's dope. It's cool. I wouldn't say it's bad. I wouldn't say it's no good. Avoid at all costs. None of that kind of stuff. I'll be like, it's cool. And for me, 3.5. Fair enough.
Okay, yeah, I'll hear that. But props to Kendrick though, because think about it. All our review shows are like 10-15 minutes. We spent nearly an hour talking about him. So
that's true.
He's a special guy. Do you know what I'm saying? There's not taking nothing away from him. He's a special guy, man. He will definitely go down as one of the greats, man.
Yeah, he will, and he deserves it. Let's keep.
I agree, man. Like I said, we need it.
You put the work in. Have you noticed as well? One more thing before we sign off. The three probably the most anticipated albums have all been from the Dre lineage tree: Snoop, 50, and now Kendrick.
That's interesting. Yeah, very true. Very true. That's very
All right.
interesting, man. Yeah.
Well,
He's a
guys,
legend, man. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, you could say that he's a living legend. You could say that for sure. So, guys, thank you so much again for checking us out on the Man Knows Hip Hop podcast. For checking out this review. I'm sure all of you care deeply about what we think about. I'm sure Kendrick cares deeply what we think about the album, but hope you enjoyed it anyway. We'll be back again next week with another episode. We'll keep the reviews coming as well. Thank you for rocking with us as always. From me, your boy Stack, and my boy in the building, as you know,
E Major, nothing but love. Appreciate you, man. Man Knows Hip Hop, the podcast that knows and celebrates hip hop, man. Love always, man. Peace.
Yeah, man. Peace and respect. Thank you for sticking with us for nearly an hour talking about one album. That's never happened before, man. So Kendrick's done something right. So we'll catch you on the next one. Peace. See you next week.
Peace, man.